Hello, welcome to the Foreign Matters video blog on Tamils, tigers and on tea. The leader of the Tamil tigers is dead, but the dream of a Tamil homeland will outlast him. There's no overestimating the magnitude of the Sri Lankan army victory. The tigers have been comprehensively defeated. The Tamil people have been led to disaster, and the scale of the humanitarian catastrophe which has befallen them will now be seen. But unless some of the Tamils' demands are met, despite that defeat, it's only a matter of time before some form of campaign resumes. The Tamils' presence on the island, formerly known as Ceylon, goes back over 2,000 years. Over many centuries, Tamil-speaking Hindus came across from the part of India now known as Tamil Nadu. They settled in the north and east of Sri Lanka. That's the area where the fighting has taken place. And they're known on the island as Sri Lankan Tamils. In the 19th century, Ceylon became a British colony, and the British brought thousands more Tamils across to work on the tea plantations, but this time in the central highlands, and they're known as the Indian Tamils. Together they make up at least 12% of Sri Lanka's population. The majority of people are Sinhali-speaking Buddhists. Much of the support for the tigers' dream of a separate homeland came from the Sri Lankan Tamils up north. Having said that, the Indian Tamils in the centre do back calls for better treatment and a degree of devolution. Sri Lanka gained independence from Britain in 1948. Almost immediately, the Tamils began to say they were being discriminated against. In 1956, the government made Sinhala the sole official language and enacted other measures the Tamils considered repressive. By the early 1970s, a vibrant movement calling for a Tamil homeland had been formed, and in 1983 a civil war began. Over 26 years, around 70,000 people have been killed, and both sides have accused the other of atrocities. The Tigers pioneered modern suicide bombing, including the use of women bombers. This year, a huge army offensive broke into the Tamil-controlled areas in the north. The government accused the Tigers of refusing to allow civilians to leave the area. The Tamils said government forces were shelling the places where civilians had gathered. Once the military had crossed Elephant Pass, it was only a matter of time before the whole island was back in military control. Over the weekend, the army, advancing from two directions, linked up on the coastline. That ensured the Tigers had no means of escape. The final hours were, by all accounts, pretty desperate. Civilians appeared to have died on a large scale. The Tigers were hunted almost to extinction, and some will have escaped. There were tens of thousands of civilians fleeing the area, and they will have tried to mingle in amongst them. In the short term, there needs to be a massive humanitarian effort. In the medium term, there needs to be a just resolution. Otherwise, in the long term, the Tigers, in one guise or another, will be back. As God willing, will be Foreign Matters. See you next time.